Vacation. I guess Jack's still in Spain, which is really annoying to everybody else, just so you know, Jack. But a ton of NBA to talk about, some NCAA football, just a huge, huge opportunity for this show today. Welcome to Pass the Rock.
Could one of y'all pass the gosh darn rock? Hey yo, I'm trying, I ain't lying, and hosting this will be Brian. Posting like Kobe Bryant, flying to see the pie. Hit the hezzy, we got Jesse, opinions get kinda messy. A fan of out of lefties, from football to racing jet skis. He go silly when he go deep, sheesh, is Zach Zeman. Teaming up with Jack, we stack the whole team, man. Pass the rock, don't stop the shot clock. Smack the slap shot, come on, now let's talk. Pass the, yo partner, pass the rock, for real.
So, quick bonus question off the top. All right. One of the most meticulous things about keeping stats for the NBA is you have to talk about what type of shot type every single one was. Was it a runner? Was it a jumper? There's all these specific examples. Have you seen anywhere any sort of like delineation of those stats that you could really take in? Who's got the best, field goal percentage on runners, on jumpers, on turnaround hook shots? Because I keep it every single night. I've never seen it anywhere else.
No, there's definitely some nerdy like sites that you can find stuff like that. That has to be a thing, right? Like what's Tyrese Halliburton's percentage on floaters? Like that has to be a thing.
But turnaround hook shots, like I get floaters, I get runners, whatever. I mean, runners, essentially any sort of running shot means that it's a fast break, that they let go of the shot before 18 seconds on the clock. That's the definition for fast break in the NBA. So anytime you see a running floater, a running jump shot, a running layup, it's because they shot it before 18 seconds. It doesn't really mean just that they're running.
Who's shooting turnaround hook shots? Who is shooting turnaround hook shots? Do you know who leads at least the Pelicans in turnaround hook shots?
It's easily JV, if anybody.
Not Zion? Did they don't not?
No,
like those little...
No. You have to, you can't be facing the basket to shoot a hook shot, and most of that stuff he is facing. It's more of a finger roll or layup or whatever. So it's definitely JV, but Andre Drummond had a few turnaround hook bank shots last night that I created a new shot.
My immediate thought was Brook Lopez. That just felt like a Brook Lopez shot.
I can tell you two things for certain. One, the number one player in runner or floaters is Emmanuel Quickley because it's all he shoots. It's every time he runs, he just throws a floater, and he's pretty money on them. And I'd say the second thing is a guy who puts in a lot of hook shots. We're going to talk about in a little. Nikola Jokic, I feel like he's just too lazy to look at the basket. It's just easier if you can just throw the ball over his head. A little lazy.
That counts as a hook shot. It should be listed just as a prayer.
Yeah,
I'll just throw this up and see what happens. But
I think you should petition the NBA to include prayers in your stat recording.
It is interesting because sometimes somebody will say, "Oh, there's whatever kind of shot," and I'll go and look, and it's not even an option. So I'll petition NBA, get your apps all together so I don't have to do all the changes on that next time, and my buddies in Secaucus can handle some of that. So welcome. We're all prayers per game and prayers per game answered, which would be a great stat.
That's funny.
So, all right, we're back together. It was a couple weeks, Zach and Jesse and I were in Indy, and then I was out last week, and you guys recorded. So we're back, and we're back with some NBA trivia. So, Jesse, take the reins.
All right, so we're going to be going over to the stock market for a little bit today. So, besides Wemby, can you name the 10 players with the most steals and blocks this season? So stocks, as they call them in fantasy basketball, steals and blocks. So besides Wemby, can you name the top 10 with the most steals and blocks this year?
Okay.
I'm going to cheat off the top and just go with my man Herb Jones because I know the Pelicans lead the league in steals.
No, Herb Jones he's 22nd, so he's not super far down the list, but having a bit of a down year, Herb Jones. So he's got 111, which is still quite a few. We need 134 to make it on the list.
Wow. Okay.
Let me get Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert is number 8.
Okay.
Very close.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to go high on the block side.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, because it's just easier to get that stat than steals. So, what about Wemby?
I said besides Wemby.
Oh, you did.
AD has to be on it.
AD is number 1.
Okay.
He's got 199. Victor Wembanyama has 238, by the way. He's a clear 47 above the next player.
What's his split? Do you have his split in front of you? I'm just interested.
Or sorry. Vic's split, I don't have it directly. He's got 171 blocks and 67 steals.
Okay. What about Giannis?
No, Giannis just misses the list, actually. He's number 11.
What about his
with 133? He's one behind the number 10 guy.
Wow. What about his teammate Brook Lopez?
Number 3, 184 stocks for Brook Lopez.
How about Chet Holmgren?
Chet Holmgren, number 2, with 190. Well done.
I know this player pretty good. Pretty good with like blocks. How about Nick Claxton?
Nick Claxton, very close, number 13 with 131, 3 shy.
Oh, give me Jaren Jackson Jr.
Number 10, Jaren Jackson Jr. with 134. Well done.
All right, this might be a 2-1 guess, but give me Evan Mobley / Jared Allen because I could see both of them on here.
Neither one of them is actually on here. No, Jared Allen is all the way down 36 with 97, and Evan Mobley is pretty far down. He missed like a month plus. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Evan Mobley has 80 total, so not even close actually.
SGA steals wise.
Yep, Shea, number 4. 171 stocks so far this season. 120 of those are steals, but still 51 blocks. He has more steals in 56 games than he did last season. So he's averaging almost 3 a game. It's ridiculous. But yeah, SGA, number 4. So you're missing number 5, 6, 7, and 9.
How about Walker Kessler?
Number 5, Walker Kessler, with 161 stocks. 136 of those
He's
are
cooking.
blocks.
He's having a good season.
Yeah.
Kawhi?
No, Kawhi did not make the cut. He's actually he's 12th, very close, 132. So 2 stocks away from making it.
What about Miles Turner?
No, not Miles Turner. So I'll give you a hint. You've got one guy left on the board who is an all-star, and the other 2 are not.
Bam Adebayo?
No, Bam did not make the cut. He's also missed some time. He's actually pretty far down.
I think I know who the all-star is. He might be a Raptor.
Scotty Barnes, number 6. Actually, part of the reason I even did this list in the first place. 153 stocks. He actually, I think, has the most even split. He's got 71 steals, 82 blocks. So he's pretty right down the middle. Scotty, number 6. So that was the all-star, and there's 2 guys left.
How about
no?
Okay.
No, not all-star. How about Sixers legend Matisse Thybulle?
I was waiting for you to say it, and he's number 9 with 135.
Totally
idea. Literally no idea how, because he really has not played that much. I mean, he has played a lot, but he's like kind of under the radar. But yeah, 94 steals, 41 blocks. Good enough for number 9.
He cooks on defense.
Last player, number 7.
Okay.
This player has more blocks than steals by a considerable margin, over 100 blocks.
Okay, so probably a big.
Definitely.
Probably.
Assume. More.
Is it Porzingis?
No, Porzingis is not a bad guess, but he's down number 27. Actually, he's quite far down. So you've said Nick Claxton, you've said Miles Turner. They narrowly missed the list. This guy he's a power forward.
God, it's hard to think of a.
Yeah,
it could be like when you say not an all-star. It's like okay, it could be anybody.
Could be anybody. I will say that this guy has had actually a pretty solid season. Like he's not an all-star level guy, but been putting up quite a few double-doubles, averages probably, right around 10 points a game. But he's been solid for the team that he's on.
Huh.
I could give you another hint, but it might give it away. But he's played
West or East?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
He currently plays in the West. But he has also played in the East.
Oh, so he was traded this year?
Well, not necessarily this year, but
well, he was traded. Period. I guess,
This player has been traded before.
Okay.
Ayton?
No.
DeAndre Ayton?
No.
Yes.
All right. My final hint is that this player has played in both conferences this year.
Okay, so he was traded this year. Okay.
Oh, what's the guy that went to Dallas?
Daniel Gafford.
Daniel Gafford is our final one at number 7 with 152 stocks. Having a quietly pretty solid year, and that's why he's such a big pickup for them. Daniel Gafford. All right, well done. That was all 10.
Awesome.
Shout out honorable mentions to those who just narrowly missed the list. You had Giannis, Kawhi, Claxton, Alex Caruso, Derek White, De'Aaron Fox, Isaiah Hartenstein.
I almost guessed Caruso until you said Western Conference. That was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, he was close. Good stuff. All right, Zach, take us away.
All right. So, inspired by his recent streak, which has been very similar to this stat line, besides Nikola Jokic, can you name 10 players who have put up a 20, 15, and 15 stat line in an NBA game? There are 14
all time,
and there are 14 players total who have done it, besides Jokic. So that's 15 total all time.
Well, I'll just get Wilt Chamberlain out of the way because he's probably done it like 4 times the amount of everyone else on the list.
Wilt Chamberlain has done it 6 times in his NBA career, the same amount that Nikola Jokic has thus far.
All right, let's get Russell Westbrook on there. 2020.
Russell Westbrook also has done it 6 times, just like Jokic and Wilt. They are all tied for second all time.
I want to put the golden boy Luka Doncic on there.
Luka Doncic has done it 3 times in his career. He is on this list.
How about LeBron?
LeBron James, your glorious king, has never done this.
I was going to say it's not a list without LeBron, but wow.
LeBron has never put up 20, 15, and 15.
What about Magic Johnson?
Magic Johnson has done it 3 times in his career, same as Luka.
All right.
What about Scottie Pippen?
Scottie Pippen has never done this.
What about Scotty Barnes? I thought you were about to say.
No way.
Scotty Barnes has also never done this.
Believe it or not.
James Harden?
James Harden has done it 1 time in his career.
Did he also have 50 points in the game? Probably.
I don't know. I just got the stat of 20, 15, and 15. He probably did, knowing Harden back, what was it, like 2018, 2019, that ridiculous streak.
He did have a 60-point triple-double, but I don't think it was with 15 and 15. What about Anthony Davis? No.
Anthony Davis has never done this.
No, not the assists.
Yeah. He's too much of a black hole.
I was thinking Shaq for a second. There's no way he ever had the assists.
Wait, does it have to be assists, or could it be 15 blocks, like theoretically?
It is 20 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists.
Okay.
You guys are still missing the number 1 guy who did it 14 times in his NBA career.
Oh my God.
Oscar Robertson.
Larry Legend did it 2 times in his career, but Oscar Robertson did it 14 times throughout his NBA career.
That's insane.
I think you guys have every player who has done it more than once.
How many do we have total?
So we have, what is it? Oscar, Wilt, Russ, Magic, Luka, Bird, and Harden so far. So we have 7. You're missing 3. I would say of the guys that are left, there are 3 that you guys should be able to get.
Oh, Giannis? So there's ones that we're not going to get.
Giannis is on this list. Yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has done it one time. There's
Okay.
there's a few guys I'd be a little more surprised for you guys to get, but there are two players who you have all, like, everyone here has seen play in their lives. There are two players.
In person?
I don't know in person.
Kareem, not that one, but Kareem.
Karl Malone.
Kareem nor Karl Malone have done this.
What about Moses Malone?
No Moses Malone.
This might be a weird guess because I don't know if he ever had enough rebounds, but he was a good rebounder for his position. How about Jason Kidd?
Jason Kidd has done it one time.
Nice.
Yes.
Jason Kidd on this list.
So is there one left, or is there?
There's remember, it's a list of 15 players total, and we have 9 of them so far. We're ignoring Jokic. So really, you have, what is that? 5 possible players. There's one that currently plays in the NBA.
Oh,
One that we haven't gotten.
That you have not gotten.
Joel?
Not Joel Embiid. I wish.
He passes a lot, so I thought maybe. What about? Ooh, we did a lot of triple double stuff like last week. I'm trying to think about it.
Sabonis.
Domantas Sabonis has done it one time in his career. That is
he
10
was
players.
on one of those lists that
he was the last player on the triple double list last time.
Yeah.
and he has also done this. The other players on here was Walt Frazier, Michael Ray Richardson, Guy Rogers, and then this guy I've never heard of, Richie Guerin. I'm not even sure. He was a point guard for the Knicks in like the 50s and 60s.
Oh my
Good thing you got Sabonis because we were not getting anybody else.
I doubt you guys. I don't think you guys would have gotten any of those guys over someone like Sabonis. So
if you had told me Knicks in like the 70s or 80s, I could have given you Walt Frazier because he's the only one I know.
Right.
It's kind of amazing to think, though, Kobe, Michael, and LeBron, none of them on the list.
None of them on this list. I also got this all the stats I got straight from David, so it's NBA certified.
Okay.
So
what was that, Jack?
And this is the second time it's happened in 10 minutes. I don't know what is going on right now.
All right. Well, we got our next show segment for today. Another trivia question. This one, we're looking at a lot of these guys getting a lot of cardio this year. So, can you name the 10 players with the most minutes played in the NBA this season? So we're going total minutes, not per game, but who has run the most cardio on the court this year? 10 players. Now you can think. I will just leave this to you to think about which coaches in the league like to run short lineups and short benches. So
for that reason, my first guess is Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson is number 9, and he makes the list because he's the only Knick who hasn't gotten hurt to not make this list.
My first guess will be Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler did not make the cut. He's missed too much time. This is total minutes. So Jimmy Butler is actually probably on there for per game, but not here.
That's also part of not getting hurt. You got to remember that.
Yeah.
There's also a guy that I watched play last night that never comes out of the game, DeMar DeRozan.
Number 1 with 2,000.
Never. I mean, last night. I didn't look at what he had to have played 45 minutes last night.
DeMar DeRozan is number 1 in the league with most minutes played. He's also number 1 in most minutes played per game as well, if it counts. But I mean, he has the most total. So yeah.
Oh, I got one. Luka Doncic.
No, actually, Luka Doncic does not make the cut. He's pretty far down. He's actually second in minutes per game with 37, but he's just played a lot of games, so he's 23rd in total minutes.
That's wild. All right, come on. Strike 1, whiffed. Strike 2, whiffed. Jason Tatum.
Number 10, barely gets on there. Jason Tatum.
Jeez.
Nice.
Oh, actually, sorry. No, he's number 11. Jason Tatum does not make the list by 3 minutes. He does not make the cut. I was looking at the per game still. He's number 10 on per game, but he is number 11 in total minutes. So Jason Tatum with
He
1938.
hasn't missed any time this year. Ugh.
Nope. But there is somebody ahead of him by 3 minutes.
How about Shea?
No, he's actually right behind Tatum with 6 less minutes than Tatum.
This is an ironic guess because he's out for 4 weeks, but starting yesterday. But Trae Young.
No, Trae Young, 18th.
Mm.
He's number 7 in per game, but he's just not there total. Come on, fellas.
Have we guessed Jokic?
What about? Oh yeah.
Jokic is not on there.
No.
Nope.
How
He's
about
behind.
What
Trae.
about Anthony Edwards?
Oh, that's a
Anthony Edwards.
No, Anthony Edwards is not on
No.
there either.
how about run and dunk man Giannis?
Giannis, number 7.
Woo.
Huh.
He's played a lot of minutes.
I didn't think there'd be any big men. On this
There
list.
are actually 2 more. Actually, well, if you consider a power forward, there's 3 more.
Oh.
Huh.
One of them is kind of ironic, and
Durant.
no, Kevin
No, it's not.
Durant's close. He's 17th actually, but
Yeah.
he's
Thought he had played a lot
he's
more. this
5th
year
in
than-
minutes per game, KD, but not total.
Wait, if we're talking ironic, then it's probably a player who's usually injury prone. So I'm gonna guess Anthony Davis.
Number 8, Anthony Davis.
I was about to guess in that same vein, Kawhi Leonard, because he's played a lot of games this year.
No, Kawhi has not. No,
He has actually played way more this
He's
year.
played 51 games, but
Yeah.
he's not up there in the total minutes.
I know.
Well, Sabonis has been our answer every week. Is it Sabonis?
Why go away? Number 4, 1997. So we have 3 guys above 2,000 minutes, and DeMar DeRozan's one of them.
Oh my god. If we're thinking about teams that don't have a lot of depth, is Mikal Bridges on here?
Number 6, Mikal Bridges, 1972. So
The Iron Man.
you're missing 2, 3, 5, and 10. And we've got 1, 2, 3. 3 of them are all-stars, and one of them is not.
Huh. I'm just trying to think of coaches that love to run their guys into the ground. I don't know if that's
Or
the best
even
way to
young-
think about this.
Even young teams that are trying to figure some stuff out. Like, what about Paolo?
Paolo, number 5.
Nice.
Nice. He's played all 57 games for them this season. Number 5, Paolo. So
Speaking
Run him to
the
the
vein that you're thinking, Jack, is a correct vein, though. Which coaches like to run, not very deep lineups?
hey,
Chicago. I can tell you.
speaking of players that keep coming up as answers, is Scotty Barnes on this list?
Number 3, baby, Scotty
Of course.
Barnes with
Of course.
2,002 minutes. He's getting that run.
Every list we're going to have to guess Scotty Barnes and Domantas Sabonis at the
Yeah.
beginning just to get them out of the way because they're probably on that list.
You might as well.
You are right about Chicago. Could Kobe White be on here too?
Kobe White is number 2 with 2,068 minutes, 4 minutes behind his backcourt mate DeMar DeRozan.
They never sub.
No,
They just
And with-
Drummond.
and
that's
Zach
it.
Levine's been out now, and he's going to be out for the rest of
Yeah.
the year. So
Right.
Kobe White, he could be your minutes leader this season. So number 10, final player, pretty good. Gets a lot of minutes and has been shouldering more of his team's load the last month to carry it.
Is this my guy Tyrese Maxey?
It's your boy Tyrese Maxey, number 10, 3 minutes above Jason Tatum.
3 minutes. Wow. That
To do it.
that just shows you how much better Maxey is than Tatum. I don't make the rules.
A lot can happen.
I
in
think
3
Tatum
minutes.
just has the lead a lot and gets benched in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That was Embiid, but we missed.
A lot can happen in 3 minutes. So Tyrese Maxey, number 10. All right. Last trivia of the day. So this one is a shorter one. So there are 4 players who have had 30 rebounds this century. Can you name them?
This
In a
century.
game.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, I worded that wrong. Can you name the only 4 players to record 30 rebounds in the game this century? Yeah, the only 4 guys that have 30 rebounds.
Yeah,
this century.
Crazy.
This century is in since 2000.
Correct. That is what this century
Okay.
means.
I'm gonna
Well,
guess.
it's 100 years.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
I'm
Well, that would be in NBA history, essentially.
yeah. Oh my god.
Let it slide.
I'm gonna
It's
guess
late over there.
one. I'm gonna guess one Shaquille O'Neal.
No.
Bum.
I'm going, and we talked about this guy. We're in Indy. Give me Ben Wallace because he had dumb rebounding numbers.
No. Ben Wallace did not make the
Oh.
cut.
Are
How
we
about-
sure? Are we sure Domantas Sabonis has never done this?
Domantas Sabonis
Scotty
has
Barnes.
not done it.
Uh,
No. And neither has Scotty Barnes.
I wasn't
How
even gonna bother with Scotty Barnes.
How about Andre Drummond? He used to have crazy rebound games in Detroit.
No, Andre Drummond unfortunately never got quite there.
Give me Boogie Cousins.
Boogie Cousins also did not. And Andre Drummond's career high, by the way, is 29. So
Oh,
he got very close.
Damn.
oh.
Oh man.
There are some, I would say some. There's 4 guys on the list. One of them is pretty obvious.
That was pretty obvious. Now I just feel like an idiot.
One of them was actually, or sorry, 2 of them were 30 points and 30 rebounds.
Jeez. Like
In the same game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god! Wow.
30.
There are 2 30-30 games since 1982, and both of those players are on this list.
I feel like I should know that.
Yeah.
But
It's got to be a time. It's got to be earlier in the century when centers mattered a little more.
could it be like Tim Duncan?
Not Tim Duncan. Let's see. Both of these happened kind of early mid 2010s.
Okay.
Dwight?
Dwight Howard had 32
Howard?
points and 30 rebounds when he was on the Charlotte Hornets, actually.
Oh wow, that's disgusting.
Hornets, Dwight mentioned. March 21st, 2018. Disgusting. Yeah.
I don't have much of a memory of him playing for the Hornets at all.
Yeah, it
That's
was like
really the
one
only
year.
one. And yeah, he had 30 and 30 in 2018, the first 30 and 30 game since the number 1 guy on this list.
Wow. Wait, the first one. So you're telling me the other 2 are after that?
No, I'm saying so Dwight had 30 and 30, and then there's one between him and 1982, and it was in the mid.
Oh,
It was
30
in
and
the
30.
2000, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. I know I'm wrong, but for some reason, Clint Capella came into my head, even though I know it's
Clint's
wrong.
actually not a bad guess, but it's not him.
Yeah, I didn't think it was Clint Capella, but I know he was always a good rebounder. So, do we have his career high? 'Cause I feel like it's,
Career high, his is 26, so
Okay.
not
Yeah.
far off. Not far off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint for one of these guys. One of them is still actively in the league, and has gets minutes. One of them has been retired for quite a few years, or retired early, and one of them has been out of the league. The most recent one of all these guys was 3 years ago.
Okay.
I think it might have been in the bubble.
Huh.
TJ Warren.
No, I would say the last one is a weird name, but yeah, I mean, the only guy on this list who still plays gets good minutes, and he's in the East.
Okay. Brooke Lopez.
No, Brooke Lopez is also not a bad shout. Brooke Lopez career high. What is his career high in rebounds? 24.
Okay.
I might have one. I'm either gonna look like an idiot or a genius for this, but I have a faint memory of Andrew Bynum doing this as a Laker. Did that ever happen?
Idiot is not today. You're a genius because he had 30 rebounds. Yeah, Andrew Bynum on April 10th, 2012, he had 22 points and 30 rebounds.
Let's go.
Against who?
It was against the Spurs.
Clippers?
Against the Spurs in 2012. So
Spurs.
actually against the
Wow.
championship team.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
That was the game.
And that was
the Andrew Bynum
And that
game.
was his first All-Star appearance since his rookie season.
Yep.
Or
People
since
forget
joining the
Andrew-
league.
Andrew Bynum was a dog when he was healthy. People forget about him.
Youngest player ever. So you have Andrew Bynum, you have Dwight Howard. The other two players, one of them still active. The other one no longer plays, but was active like 2-3 years ago. The one who still plays, you should get power forward / center. Plays in the East.
Speaking of a guy who is no longer like in the league, Enes Kanter.
What?
Sorry.
He's no longer in the league. I mean, hey, if we're talking about players who recently left the league, I don't know.
Where did that guess come from?
I don't know.
Anyway, his name's not Enes Kanter. His name is Enes Freedom, and he's number 4.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It came straight from Google.
I did not.
Enes Kanter had 30 rebounds, which is the Portland Trailblazers franchise record in 2021.
Look, we talk about guys who recently departed the league. That's who comes up in my mind.
Yeah, I should have said guys who have a hit on their name in Turkey, and you would have got it.
I don't even have words. I don't know how you came up with that. That's impossible.
Well, the fact that you got Enes freaking Freedom before the number 1 guy on this list is kind of degen. So the number 1 guy on this list,
you're welcome.
I still don't know how you haven't got it. He's one of the only guys with 30-30 ever.
Okay, Eastern Conference still playing.
Yeah, he's old though.
He's old.
Ooh, the Zion Williamson protector. Kevin Love.
Why is he the Zion protector?
I don't even know what.
So the other day, the Heat and Pelicans got in a fight, and it was over whether or not Kevin Love had a dirty foul on Zion. And afterwards, Zion said, no, he protected me as I was falling down.
My sweet protector, Kevin Love, with 31 and 31 in the same game on the Timberwolves.
Enes Freedom over Kevin Love has got to be one of the most degenerate things ever on this show.
But how? I just don't even understand how that came into your head.
Honestly, no. The biggest thing for me was him saying that he kind of recently left the league, but wasn't specifically retired. And I've occasionally seen him on Twitter, and that's just like, oh, right, he's not in the league, but he's doing his own thing. He's not retired though.
That's
so
crazy.
Couldn't really think of anyone else to match that description.
Well, good job, because that is right. And he had 30 rebounds in, I think, the bubble in 2021 or 2020. It was a weird year.
Huh.
So that's the end of our trivia for today. So we'll move on to the NBA discussion of today.
Yeah, little NBA talk. All right, it's just after the All-Star break, just after the 60%. The season is done, so about to get down to business. So I ask you, who is the most underrated player in the NBA today?
Ooh, I got a good one for this. I think that this season, one of the most under the radar guys is Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic. He's been really, really good this season, and I know that Paolo is getting all the love, which he should. He's also been great this season, first time All-Star, rookie superstar budding. But Franz Wagner has been the second option of this Magic team that is looking to make the playoffs and make perhaps at least a second round run. Maybe they could upset one of the higher teams that's kind of crumbling right now. The Magic catch the Bucks on a bad day or a bad 4 days and make something happen. So I think Franz has been super underrated this year. The dude is just a straight bucket. Paolo's played a lot of games this year, so he hasn't had to take on the number 1 load, so to speak. But on the nights that Paolo's off, he's on, and he's just been so good for them. And honestly, I don't think he gets nearly enough attention. The Magic, let alone the entire team, don't. So being the second option on that team, it's hard for him to stand out. But man, he deserves the credit. He's been awesome this year. And no, I didn't say Scotty Barnes. F you.
All right. I can go next. I've got a good one. Rudy Gobert is a guy that I have defended Rudy Gobert for a long time. This is a guy, he's almost useless offensively. All he does is put the ball in the hoop standing right underneath it. But what he does defensively is outstanding. You can't score in the paint if Rudy Gobert is in there. And the adaptability that he's shown coming off of what was probably the worst year of his career last year in his first year in Minnesota to learn how to play alongside Cat, make that work, and still put up Defensive Player of the Year caliber numbers this season. he is a huge reason why the Timberwolves are where they are right now. And you'll hear people give, obviously, Anthony Edwards his flowers for the year he's had. Cat's been awesome this year. Mike Conley plays his role really well. A lot of players on that team get their flowers. And people just love to hate on Gobert because it's funny. And I agree that it's funny. But Rudy Gobert is one hell of a player and does not get nearly enough credit for it.
Yeah, he actually currently is the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year, which would be his fourth, which I think would be the most all-time, which is insane.
Yeah. Clamp God.
All right, Zach.
Yeah, I'm not sure how underrated this guy is, but I don't hear him talked about enough when it comes to days besides All-Star Weekend. Aaron Gordon's having a pretty solid season for the Nuggets, and he has been having solid seasons for the Nuggets the past couple of years. But I mean, what he does, he's really fit into his role with the Nuggets. He still averages 13 points a game, which you wouldn't expect from the fourth option on a championship team necessarily. He's getting the boards he needs to, getting the assists he needs to. He just fits really well in the Nuggets scheme without standing out too much. And everyone seems to forget him as soon as All-Star Weekend is over. So I'm going to say no. Let's appreciate Aaron Gordon a little bit more. He's having a pretty solid season, and he's been having solid seasons the past couple of years.
I like that pick. He actually was a guy who was like up for consideration for the All-Star game last year when Denver was just like so good, and he didn't make it, and Jamal Murray also didn't make it, and then it was just Jokic. But like, we can't act like Denver doesn't have any All-Stars and Jokic has no help. Like, they've got, you could argue that MPJ, Jamal, and Gordon are players of the caliber that could be All-Stars one day, or should have been, or anything. I like the Aaron Gordon pick. He's been solid all year.
I'm gonna go with one. So Jack kind of stole my team that I was looking at because I started at the top of the standings. And this guy is not like, on a lot of lists anywhere. But whenever I watch him play, he always balls out. He has increased this year his 3-point percentage, and he's increased his points per game from 10.5 to 12.1. Naz Reid. Now, I am biased because he's an LSU guy. And I just kind of like keep an eye on him. But the dude just shows up, and every time, I'm not saying just watching him against the Pelicans either. Watching him on a random night on TNT play whomever, and the dude is just annoying when he comes out and just makes stuff happen. And so I'm going to list Naz Reid.
I love Naz. Love the Naz Reid take. And he, as much as Jack has said what Gobert deserves, Naz Reid also is the guy who steps in every night when either Cat or Gobert is out, and just he can also shoot. Like, he was part of he was part of Jelly Fam back in like the high school Ball His Life days. Like, he's a big guy who can handle and can shoot and do all that, but also is a nice presence down low. So love me some Naz Reid.
I just know that our TikTok followers are going to love that you mentioned Naz Reid. Naz Reid has like a cult following online right now.
Yeah,
and hey, I mean, you're picking the LSU guy. I resisted the temptation to pick a West Virginia guy like Miles McBride, who recently has been having some good games. So
if you said Miles McBride is the most underrated player in the NBA, that's
it's fortunate for me that Wisconsin produces no NBA talent, so there's no room to be biased. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
and neither does Canada. So all good.
There we go. Canada's got
no
some,
Canadian,
they got
Canadian universities. We don't have any.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's fair.
No Brock
all right
in the NBA.
No.
Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about most improved. So, who deserves the most improved player award in this season? Rankings. I'll give you a little rankings just so you get a sense of who's at the top. Maxey, Kobe White, Kuminga, Şengün, J. Will, Jalen Johnson, or insert anybody else you want to put in here. But who deserves most improved player this year? Zach.
Ooh. Just right on the spot. Look, I got to ride with my guy, Maxey. I have to. Look, I feel like the biggest reason why he's been put in so much consideration for this award is not necessarily because of the stats on paper. He's only increased his totals, 20 points to 26 points, three rebounds to 6 rebounds, and 3 assists to 4 rebounds. There isn't a huge statistical jump. I think it's more about the situation that he's in. Losing Harden in, pretty much right at the beginning of the season, getting rid of him, and then losing Embiid about halfway through the season, and he's still playing at a superstar-esque level. I think that's the reason why he's in such heavy consideration. And I'm not sure if he's the most deserving, but he's my pick, obviously. So I'm going to say Tyrese Maxey deserves it just because he's been playing better basketball than I think anyone could have expected for the situation that he's been put into.
So I'm not saying he's most deserving. I'm saying he's my pick. So he's not most deserving is what you're saying. There's other people ahead of him. Okay. Just wanted to get that right. All right. Jack.
All right. My pick here, I think, would be Kobe White. I think his improvement this year has been outstanding. I think this was a real make it or break it year for him. I think this is year 4, I want to say, of Kobe White, and he's been sort of like a 10-point per game, 3 assist kind of guy, not a decent player, but not a guy that's really making an impact night in, night out. And this year he's transformed into a really high level scorer, upped his average to 20 points per game. He's been absolutely awesome for the Bulls this year. One of very few bright spots for them. And the debate between him and Maxey sort of goes back to the year that John Morant won Most Improved Player. He had a similar jump that Maxey did, going from I think 21 points a game to 26 or 27. And then the other option I think was Darius Garland, who had a similar Kobe White type jump. And I was big on the Garland camp. I was big on you give it to the guy that has improved the most, not the guy that has gone from a good player to a really good player. So I always have leaned more on the Kobe White side of the debate. But I obviously understand ascending to an all-star level player is impressive. I just think this award should go to the guy that has taken the biggest leap, and that's Kobe White.
Yeah, I don't think that you can be I don't think Tyrese Maxey should be up for this award because you can't be most improved when you averaged 20 points a game last season. You're already that good. It's going from being an A to an A+ versus a guy who could go from, to me, going from a C to an A is a bigger improvement than A to A+, even though some might argue that going from 20 to 25 points is a harder jump than 10 to 20. But, you could make an argument for either one. But Tyrese Maxey is already a budding superstar. And I just don't think that him winning the award is when John Morant won it over Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane was more improved that year. John Morant ended up as the better player, but John Morant was also already rookie of the year and a superstar. So I don't think that really should have gone to Ja, but it did. So while Maxey is the front runner, I think Kobe White absolutely deserves it way more. We just went over it. Kobe White is second in total minutes played in the NBA. So not only is he getting a lot of run, he's getting more run than anybody in the entire league besides from DeMar DeRozan. And he's now gone from averaging 10, 3, and 3 to 25 and 5. He's been a huge piece for the Bulls, even though the Bulls suck and it's just a lost season for them. He's been phenomenal. He's improved a lot. And the amount of time that he has the ball and that he's on the floor is just so much higher than so many of these other superstars in the league, that clearly he's a guy who's getting very trusted because of how much he's improved. My other pick that's not Kobe White is Alperen Şengün. He's had a really great season, averaging 21, 9, and 5. And he wasn't an all-star. He upped his points per game by 7, which is great. His rebounds and assists stayed about the same, but he's been a great passer, great facilitator. I really think he's a baby Jokic and the next great passing big man. And the Rockets have a great piece in him. And he's just been so good this year, all year, in pretty much every category. So I think Alpi deserves a nod for most improved.
Yeah. I also want to,
by the way,
I just also want to shout out Jonathan Kuminga because he hasn't been doing it.
Wait, do I get a turn or not?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you hadn't gotten one. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go.
No. Tell me about Jonathan Kuminga, and then I'll have to pick somebody.
No. If you're going to take Kuminga, take him. Go.
I was going to take Kuminga. But first, it's all right. First, I want to say I don't think the Bulls suck. I know they're in 9th in the East, and I don't think they have any aspirations of going far in the playoffs, but they still have a good little team. I mean, Kobe White and DeMar DeRozan.
You're just saying that because they
Vucevic.
beat the Pelicans last night.
They did, but Vucevic was awesome last night, by the way. They are not a terrible team. They have some stuff together. If they had Levine, who knows where they could be. I was going to take Kuminga from the beginning, and the reason is less about his stats and more about the eye test. The Golden State Warriors would be left for dead if he hadn't stepped up about 3 weeks ago and started really accepting what his role is on this team and pushing them, where they are. Obviously, they have all their great superstars. They got Draymond back, all that stuff. But if he doesn't step up and do what he's done in the last 3 weeks, which includes – like this year, he's got, a few more points a game from 11 to 15. He's got 1 rebound more a game, a half of assist. He's not going to win the award, but that team would be nowhere without him, stepping up and playing the role he's playing. So I really like him just as an honorable mention. He doesn't have the stats to win it.
By the way,
what I was going to say about Kuminga is that I love everything that he's done this year, and he's definitely made a strong case in the last few weeks. But he hasn't done it for long enough over the course of the season.
Right.
For the award. That's the thing.
Right.
But he absolutely deserves a shout out because you're 100% right. The Warriors are not where they are right now without him.
Yeah, I will say Jonathan Kuminga, by the way, second youngest NBA champion ever besides Darko Milicic. He won in his first year with the Warriors. But yeah, Kuminga, it's funny. He's actually averaging exactly the same amount of points as he was last year, still 9. But it's because he was not getting like any minutes or scoring time at the start of the year. And now he's obviously he's like their leading scorer outside of Steph, which is phenomenal.
Yep. All right. Why shouldn't Victor Wembanyama win the Defensive Player of the Year? Why shouldn't Wemby win the Defensive Player of the Year again? Why shouldn't Wemby win the Defensive Player of the Year this year?
Honestly, I don't have anything to say because I think he should. And I know it's crazy to say that a guy who's on the Spurs who are that bad should be Defensive Player of the Year, because you could say Rudy Gobert is, the anchor of the #1 team in the West, and he's phenomenal, and he's a 3-time and should be a 4-time. But Wemby's been actually insane. He put up a 5-by-5 game last night. The game before that, he had 5 steals and 5 blocks as well. Just didn't have 5 assists. And he put up a triple-double with blocks. He leads the league in steals and blocks stocks by 40-something over the next person. Not only is he rejecting shots, but he's in the passing lane with his 9-foot wingspan. I think it's kind of crazy to give it to a rookie. I don't know how many rookies have ever won Defensive Player of the Year, if that's a thing. Maybe like Hakeem or David Robinson or one of those guys. Maybe Ben Wallace. I don't even know. But he has been arguably the best defensive player on the court every night he steps foot on. And just the sheer amount of production that he has on the defensive side of the ball. And the fact that he's not even a liability on the perimeter. You can take Rudy Gobert out on the perimeter and kind of make him look silly if you get a switch. You can't switch Wemby. It's just not going to happen. So I think he should win Defensive Player of the Year.
No rookie has ever done it, nor has any teenager ever done it.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
I mean, Wemby definitely has a hell of a case, but here I am. I'm going to come defend Rudy Gobert again because apparently this is my Rudy Gobert defense show. But the Minnesota Timberwolves are #1 in defensive efficiency rating this year in the entire NBA, which is insane to think about because Karl Anthony Towns is on that team, and that dude is an absolute liability defensively. So you're telling me that Rudy Gobert has been so good defensively this year that he has made his duo partner be able to get this team to have the #1 defensive efficiency rating in the NBA? I mean, that's pretty insane. And not to mention that Gobert individually, you can't score on him when the guy's in the paint. And I think that also deserves a shout out to Naz Reid as well, although he just doesn't have the minutes to be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. But Rudy Gobert has transformed this Timberwolves team into a really good defensive team from a time just a couple of years ago before they made that trade when Cat was running most of the center minutes. And you literally, if you drove into the paint against that team, it was like a hot knife through butter. So Rudy Gobert has done an outstanding job this year. I would still give it to him. But Wemby, what he's done at this age is insane. He might be a 10-time Defensive Player of the Year award winner by the time his career is over. I just don't think the first one comes in this season.
All right, Zach.
I'm with Jesse on this one. I mean, he's already per game top 10 defensive rebounds. He's 15th per game for steals, and he's the #1 player both in total blocks and in blocks per game in the NBA. This is a rookie Wembanyama, and I am terrified of what Wemby's going to do once he hits his prime. If this is what we're seeing his rookie year, the fact that we're already arguing that he could be the defensive player of the year, and I agree he should be. He's having a phenomenal season defensively. Imagine what's going to happen when he develops his offense even more than he already has. Wemby's going to just casually drop 40 points every single night and also get 10 blocks on the other side of the court. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous, and I think it just starts here. He should win Defensive Player of the Year, and then next year he's already going to be making a case for MVP.
I think the key distinction for voters is going to be because Wemby's going to totally lap the field, as Jesse already said, in stocks. So, however, if he creates such a big gap there against Rudy Gobert, then it's going to be hard to vote against him. But everybody's also going to look and say, well, Rudy Gobert's team is actually winning. So there's a lot of factors as to why that's true that have nothing to do with Rudy Gobert or Wemby. But I think in the end, he's going to be so far ahead that he's going to have to get this award.
One thing, Brian, Rudy Gobert is ducking Wemby tomorrow night, and he's not going to play against the Spurs because he's scared of being exposed because he's a fraud. And Wemby has more blocks in his last 5 games than Gobert does in his last 15, by the way. So 28 blocks in 5 games for Wemby.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just let me say that again. Guard, 28
please.
Blocks in 5 games. That is
Greg
5 per
Sohan
game.
is not a point guard. Let's just PSA.
That's over 5 per game. That's nearly 6 per game. That's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's where does the bias land as far as playing on a team that's in meaningful games or not? I think what you could argue is that, with the amount of lack of other defensive players on his team, Wemby should absolutely get the award because at least, when it comes to the Timberwolves, they have a few guys that can play defense. Not talking about Cat, obviously. All right. The Thunder and the T-Wolves, first and second in the West. Who goes farther in this year's playoffs? Jesse.
So right now they're actually tied for first in the West. They are both 40 and 17.
Oh.
So the Thunder and T-Wolves are neck and neck at this point. This season, I'm going to say that the Timberwolves are going to go farther. I love the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that they're one of the youngest and most exciting dynamic teams in basketball. But I will say that they are one of the youngest teams in basketball as well. And for the main reason of, I know that Minnesota doesn't exactly have a lot of playoff experience because even though they're older, they haven't exactly been in the playoffs much. But I think Minnesota was similar to what the Thunder are this year, like last year and the year before. Like young, kind of made it into the playoffs. Anthony Edwards, the budding superstar, leading them, and they got close. They almost closed out a round 1 series and just couldn't quite get there. So I think they also got the matchup last year. They ended up facing the Nuggets in round 1, and they only took 1 game off the Nuggets, but some of those games were close and they fought hard. So I'd say that the Timberwolves got there last year, didn't quite get the result that they wanted, and now they're at the top of the West, not going to be coming in as the 8th seed and face the eventual NBA champion in round 1. So I think the Timberwolves are going to go far this year. I think Anthony Edwards is going to lead that team on his back. And I think also defense wins championships. And also the Thunder are very good defensively. Like, don't get me wrong. Like Shea, with all the steals he has, Chet, Jay Will's a good defender, Lou Dort's a good defender. So they're pretty solid defensively, but I think that the Timberwolves are going to go further because I think they're just a little more ahead on their current timeline. But I do think that the Thunder are going to eventually surpass them. But this year, I would say the T-Wolves, I think that they could both very easily make it to round 2. But I think the T-Wolves go a little further.
Jack.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I'm going to come out of this recording session looking like the world's biggest Minnesota Timberwolves fan. Trust me, I would never root for anything from Minnesota on Wisconsin forever. The Timberwolves are really good this year. They're a complete team. They've figured out how to play good defense, even with Karl-Anthony Towns. Anthony Edwards, like Jesse said, is a budding superstar. And Cat himself has had a really good offensive year and has been less of a liability defensively. So I'll quit bashing Cat for now. But this is just
I just love that every time you mention the defense, you're like, and this is with Cat, by the way.
That's impressive to me. Cat is one of the worst defenders I've ever watched. Like, seriously, it disgusts me. And the fact that this team can be rated number 1 in defensive efficiency with that in the lineup is unbelievably impressive. So
you can hide one guy.
You can. That's true. When you have a guy that's as good as Rudy Gobert.
It's hard to hide when you're 7 foot.
I'll quit on that point. But I just really think this Timberwolves team is complete. The Thunder are also a lot of fun, super young, but it feels like they're a year or two too early. This is such a young team. Definitely, I think they're the youngest average age of any team in basketball. You just look at their top players. I mean, even Shea, Chet, J-Dub, all these guys are just don't have any playoff experience at all, super young. And I could see, like Jesse said, I could see them winning a series, maybe, but this isn't a championship team yet. But I do have to say, this year is going to be a great experience for these guys. Now they know what it feels like to win some games. They're going to get some playoff action, and it's going to be good for them in the long run to get this experience so young.
Zach?
I'm leaning Timberwolves, but I could honestly just say none of the above and say that neither of these teams will make it past the first round. I'm looking at potential matchups, and I mean, whoever matches up with the Suns is going to have an extremely difficult matchup. If I'm the Thunder, I'm terrified of that first round matchup against against Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, those three being locked in to win a playoff series. I think the Suns are going to be able to knock off any team in the West. And then, I mean, with the Timberwolves, you're facing a lower seed. Again, if the Suns fall that far, that's a difficult matchup for anyone. I'm also a little bit scared of how the Mavericks would face up with a team like the Timberwolves. And the Mavericks definitely not as strong as a lot of these other teams, but with Luka and Kyrie, and I mean, we already mentioned Gafford earlier having a great season, and Lively, they have a good core down in Dallas, and I think they could also challenge either of these teams. If I had to pick one, I'm also leaning the Timberwolves. They are definitely further along in their plan than the Thunder are. The Thunder are still like a year or two out, but there's a legitimate chance neither of these teams make it out of the first round.
Honestly, I thought you were kind of crazy at first, but looking at the standings, I think you're kind of cooking because the West is so good that if you're the first or second seed,
the Thunder would not beat the Suns. The Thunder are
not only the Suns. It's not even the Suns I'm worried about. It's the play-in team. The 4 teams in the play-in currently are the Pelicans, Mavericks, Lakers, and Warriors. I think the Pelicans are the worst of that bunch. Sorry, Brian, but if you're
well, actually, the Pelicans are tied for 5th right now,
right? So. But they're still technically the 7th seed. But right now, if you are round 1 having to go up against the Warriors, like I know that they haven't been great all season, but like they can turn it on when it comes to the playoffs. And if you're going up against Steph Curry round 1 as a young team, like I could easily see the Thunder or the Timberwolves in that series, like getting a winner, like kind of like the Kings did last year. Like they won the first 2 games. They thought they had the Warriors on the ropes, and then you just get a little ahead of yourself, and Steph Curry goes crazy, and all of a sudden you're packing your bags.
Yeah, round 1, if I'm one of those top 2 teams, I'm terrified to match up against the Suns, Mavericks, or Warriors, although I think Suns and Mavericks are more likely.
You'd honestly rather be the Clippers and be the 4th seed than be the first or second seed.
No, I would much rather be the Nuggets or the Clippers right now, being the 3-4 seed. I think they get much more – most likely they get much more favorable matchups, seeing how things pan out, obviously. Nothing's set in stone, but – I mean, if I'm the Timberwolves or Thunder, look out for those teams that have experience or have guys who are looking to make a deep playoff run, like your Kevin Durant's, Devin Booker's, Stephen Curry's, and Luka Doncic's.
The thing is, though, number 5 through 10 in the West right now are all within 4 games of each other. So, like, this could be a completely different order between those 6 teams by the time we get to the playoffs. So, I don't think it's fair to say I would rather be the Denver or the Clippers at 3 or 4, like facing the 5 or 6 seed, because for all we know, by the time we get to the playoffs, that could be the Warriors, that could be the Mavericks, that could even be the Lakers, although it probably won't be. I'm just saying this is fully bound to change. These teams are so neck and neck right now, and it has been a theme the past few years in the West that this range of teams has been super competitive. And I think we're going to get another one of those years this year where we have 4, 5, 6 teams that are within 3 or 4 games of each other.
Yeah, the NBA is so good.
Yeah,
right
I think what it comes down to is Zach isn't wrong in the fact that neither of these teams will get farther than the other. I think they get to the second round, but I think then you have like the Nuggets, Clippers, Kings, Suns waiting for them. I don't actually think the Kings are nearly as good as their record, but the Nuggets, Clippers, and Suns could scare me. Mm-hmm. So, and then you have one of the 3 Mavericks, Lakers, and Warriors that shows up. I don't think all three of them show up, but I think one of them does, and I don't know which one at this point. I'd probably bet on the Lakers if you made me, but I don't feel confident about that either. So I think that's where they run into trouble, is in round 2, not in round 1. Okay. Because in round 1, in the end, if you're like the 9 or 10 seed and you win your way in as the 8, there's a reason you're there. And in the end, they just haven't proven to be able to win that series. So, but we will see. So it's going to be exciting, though. You're right. The West is like all packed in.
It's like
I do think
the second team in the East. Would
once
be
you
like
get to the Jazz, what's that?
I said like the top 3 teams in the East would be like in the play-in in the West. Like,
yeah. I mean, and it's really separated itself out. I know the Jazz are only 3 games out of 10th, but essentially 11 through 15 is pretty set. And then you have everybody else just fighting for, who has to play a couple extra games with the play-in, or, can anybody get up and get home court advantage in the first round or whatever, as far as the 4 or 5. But, the Nuggets are still obviously one of the, if not the scariest team in the NBA right now. And then you have the Clippers, who have been playing really well. And then, if the Suns are healthy, yeah, but that's a huge question mark. So, but we'll see. All right. Better than. Anybody ready for some better than NBA style? All right. Is Donovan Mitchell better than? Zach, we're going to start with you. Jaylen Brown.
I'm going to say yes, Donovan Mitchell is better than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah, I agree. Not much more to say. I think Donovan Mitchell is, dare I say, a tier ahead.
I think Jaylen Brown gets too much hate, but this is definitely Donovan Mitchell's better. I think Jaylen Brown is a very fine, player, 26, 27 a game, decent on defense, but D-Mitch is a number 1 and Jaylen Brown's a number 2.
Yeah, D-Mitch has definitely always played for a team where he had to be the number 1. Good, just dream of a team where he was the number 2. Jamal Murray.
Still can't believe this guy's never been an all-star, but Donovan Mitchell is better.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite thing to say and better than whenever Jamal Murray comes up as well, maybe I would take playoff Jamal Murray, but not regular season. But the thing is, playoff Donovan Mitchell is also a thing. This guy also cooks in the postseason. So I'm taking Spider.
Yeah, I love this. Has taken me back to the bubble matchup between the Nuggets and Jazz, where they were both dropping 50, and it's like at that point you could go either one. But I think that there's a reason that Donovan Mitchell is not only a 1-time but a 5-time All-Star. He was All NBA last year, and you don't get that by accident. And while Jamal Murray is definitely a guy who should have been an All-Star at some point because he's that good, Donovan Mitchell is no doubt.
Paul George.
I mean, this is one. I feel like we could do this a couple of times on this list. Be like, oh, I'm taking the career of one player, but the current of another. Right now, I would say it is Donovan Mitchell, though.
Yeah, this is definitely a little tougher. I would still lean with Donovan Mitchell, but I do think PG is a much better defensive player than Donovan is. So that definitely boosts him up. But I still think Donovan's scoring prowess is enough to take him over PG.
This is tough for me. This is really close because, like, Paul George to me is a better, like, more complete player, but D-Mitch is no slouch on defense. Like, he averages, like, almost 2 steals a game, like, this year. And I know it's just an average, but I think I'm going to take Donovan Mitchell at this point. But Paul George is, like, he's one of my favorite players of all time. But I think right now in 2024, you're taking Donovan Mitchell.
I don't know. I think the defense always is more important to me than I think the three of you. So I want to congratulate Jack for bringing that up. I think I'd probably take Paul George, but this is the last year I'd take him. And then,
but like Donovan Mitchell is a good defender. Like, it's not like Paul George. It's not like
no doubt.
Not like we're comparing Luka. Like, it's this is Donovan Mitchell.
Agreed. I'm glad I finally convinced you. James Harden.
The classic saying, right now I'm taking Mitchell, but for their careers I'm taking Harden. It's a classic of these.
Yeah, in 2024, I think you would have to take Donovan Mitchell. You have to appreciate the way that James Harden has evolved his game this year to fit in the role of being the number 3 guy on his team and actually succeed in that role. But at the same time, Donovan Mitchell is currently leading the team that I believe is second in the Eastern Conference, and James Harden is the third option on the Clippers. So give me Donovan Mitchell.
It's not hard. I think Donovan Mitchell is better right now. But I will say, if you swapped Harden for Donovan Mitchell, I don't think the Clippers get better. I think that they are better now with Harden than they would be with Donovan Mitchell, just based on the way that, like you said, he's adapted his game to still give you 17 a night, but also like almost 10 assists a night as well. And just being the facilitator, he can hit a clutch shot when you need him to. And he's making sure everybody else is getting the shots they need. James Harden is also, for such a guy who's been, known as like the ISO scorer, is one of the most selfless players in basketball because of his way to get his teammates involved and make sure that they're getting the shots. So Donovan Mitchell is better than James Harden, but I don't think the Clippers will get better if they swapped him. I know it's irrelevant, but Donovan Mitchell is better.
It's crazy to think of James Harden not being a selfish player, but he has taken a way different role with the Clippers. And everybody who said that this experiment was not going to work was like looking at the last few years of James Harden being super selfish and not wanting to play a role. And I think Russell Westbrook going to the bench made that happen. And so because of all that, I agree with you, Jesse. I don't think that the Clippers would be better with Mitchell. But in the end, I think most teams would be. So I'm going to say Mitchell as well. Devin Booker.
Sorry, I just wanted to say before we just one more thing about James Harden. Before this year, since the 2020-2021 season, from then until his last season with the Sixers, he's averaged over 10 assists a game. He has been unselfish for a while. But
yeah,
again,
he's cooked.
It doesn't.
That is not the only.
I know it's not the only thing, but I'm saying he's been passing the ball for a while. He's actually been a pretty consistent playmaker for his teams. Now on to Devin Booker. Both have pretty similar numbers, but I'm going to lean Donovan Mitchell here.
Yeah, I think I would also, I don't know. It's so difficult for me because these two guys are both really good at different things. Donovan Mitchell is certainly the better defender. But Devin Booker is a hell of a playmaker and definitely better than Donovan Mitchell in that aspect. I think you could probably go either way. I think I personally prefer Mitchell slightly, but I could go either way here.
Nah, this one's Devin Booker. This is the first one where I didn't actually even have to think about it. It's definitely Devin Booker. And I know that Donovan Mitchell, like he might have certain more accolades than Devin Booker. He's actually more All-Star appearances than Devin Booker. But I think Book, again, once it comes around playoff time as well, like he's an absolute beast. And I just think that he can take over a game more. Like when he's hot, he's shooting like 18 of 25 in a game. And just like you can't guard him. And he's also really stepped up the playmaking. He's basically the Suns point guard this year. Like Bradley Beal, shooting guard. Grayson Allen, shooting guard. They don't have a point guard. And he's been running it. He's averaging around 7 assists a game this year, which is career high for him, and also giving you 27 a game still. So I think this one is the first one where it's definitely Devin Booker.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's absolutely Devin Booker. And I agree that it's the playoff experience that makes him better. And, it wouldn't shock me for his team to get farther this year in the playoffs. So Tyrese Maxey.
As much as I love the franchise, it's easily Donovan Mitchell here.
Did you just call Tyrese Maxey the franchise, or were you just referring to the 76ers?
No, that's his nickname, the franchise.
How did he get that? All right, moving on.
Because he owns a Subway and a Jimmy John's. That's why.
Oh, my God. This is Donovan Mitchell. I mean, Maxey's been awesome this year, but we've seen Donovan Mitchell's a 5-time All-Star. This is year 1 of Tyrese Maxey. I mean, that's a pretty easy choice.
Mitchell next.
Agreed. Trae Young.
Trae Young, the guy who everyone likes to debate if he's actually good or not. I feel like this is another one that's like fairly close, but
Mitchell next.
Yeah,
It's not close.
It's Donovan Mitchell. It's Donovan Mitchell because Donovan Mitchell doesn't lead mid teams that go 750 and 750. It's insane.
Well, I keep saying how Cat is my least favorite defender to watch in the NBA. Trae Young is my second least favorite defender to watch in the NBA. So Donovan Mitchell easily.
I don't think that Trae Young is like horrible or anything. I just think that Mitchell is like Trae Young is a better facilitator. Scorer, they're probably about even. Defensively, Mitchell's a lot better, and efficiency wise, also probably Mitchell's a lot better. So yeah, Mitchell next.
Yeah, the playoffs, the playoffs are a big piece here. Donovan Mitchell with a losing record. Trae Young got one team to the Eastern Finals, and I hate that I'm saying that, but I'm still going Donovan. I just he has to show a little bit of success when it's not just a random Wednesday game during the regular season. But Trae Young, I don't feel he's got much heart. I don't think he's playing that hard out there. His haircut's terrible. Give me Donovan Mitchell.
The haircut comes
next
out of pocket. What did he do to deserve that?
I don't know. It's just weird. Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving, our favorite player in NBA history. I'm going to go Donovan Mitchell now, but I feel like with his entire career, I'd go Kyrie Irving.
I kind of want to go Kyrie here. I've been really impressed with Kyrie this year and his ability to learn how to play with Luka, and actually have that not be the dumpster fire that it was towards the end of last season when he got traded there. They clearly put in work this offseason and learned how to play off of each other, and we're seeing it. And Kyrie's been fantastic this year. And I know Donovan Mitchell is on the better team right now, so you could use that argument. But I think Kyrie's playmaking ability combined with what he's done as a scorer this year, I would go Kyrie.
I'm taking Kyrie as well. I think he's had a great season, resurgence, but like reaffirming year for Kyrie that like he's still the player that he was a year or two ago before. He's had a lot of injuries, honestly, and he still looks just as good as he ever has. And I agree that year 2 of being, or year 1.5 of being beside Luka has made things more comfortable for him. And I think come playoffs, he's going to be a huge, huge performer, just like he always is. So I'm excited for that, and I'm going to take Kyrie.
Yeah, my only worry about Kyrie is some randomness pops up that he doesn't play for a week for some reason. And I know we feel good about what he's done this year to avoid that, but it's always in the back of your mind. So I'm going to stick with Donovan Mitchell. De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox, man. I'm not the only one who thinks this is like kind of close, right? Like this is a pretty close one. I'm going to lean Donovan Mitchell mainly for his scoring ability. I think he's just a better scorer overall. Feels like a nitpicky answer right there, but I feel like with these two, you're going to be pulling a few hairs.
They average within 1 point of each other, by the way.
That's insane. Yeah, I mean they're both great scorers, and I'm just going to take Mitchell over Fox. I feel like I'd rather build a franchise around Donovan Mitchell than I would De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I think I would also take Donovan Mitchell. I don't know if I feel that it's quite as close as you. And I don't know that I have a particular reason for it. I just think Donovan Mitchell is maybe that's what I would say. I would rather build a franchise around Donovan Mitchell than De'Aaron Fox. I just feel like he's more of that number one guy, face your franchise type of guy.
Yeah, it is close, but I would lean Mitchell because I don't know if I'm getting Tuesday night De'Aaron Fox or Saturday night De'Aaron Fox, because Saturday night De'Aaron Fox is giving you 35, 8, and 5 with 3 steals on a huge performance. And Tuesday, De'Aaron Fox is giving you like 9 points on 1 of 12 shooting with nothing else. It seems like a bit of like he's just there. Like the nights that De'Aaron Fox is on, he's better than Donovan Mitchell, but he has more off nights than Donovan Mitchell does. I just think that D-Mitch is it's just more consistent. And De'Aaron Fox is great. He's one of the most clutch players in the league. He gets a lot of action in the fourth quarter. And that Kings team is, he's the heart and soul of that team, even though Sabonis is so good. But there's just some nights where he just does not have it. And I just don't think that Mitchell has that many of those nights. And De'Aaron Fox. I mean, the Kings as a whole, like him and Herter, they're both very hot for some games and very cold for some games. And I don't think that you can be the best if you're going to be cold for that many games that often. And he's great. It's just he's not quite as great every single night as you need to be better than Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell scares me more. That's it. It's done. He could go off for 50 any given night, like you're saying, and his floor is a lot higher. So give me Donovan Mitchell. Jalen Brunson.
Oof. You know what? I've been saying Donovan Mitchell this entire time. I think it's time to not select Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to say Jalen Brunson right now. I would take over Donovan Mitchell. He is, he's, to me, the only real difference is that he's a bit of a better shooter. He's a bit more accurate on his shots. So, like, you appreciate your point guard making a couple more shots, higher percentages. Other than that, I mean, pretty much all their stats are within like one or two of each other anyways. Kind of just pulling hairs here. But I'm going to lean with Jalen Brunson. I'm going to lean Brunson here.
Yeah. This one is pretty close, but I think I would go Donovan Mitchell. He's been doing it longer. He's more of a diverse scorer, and I think he's a better defender. Yeah, enough said.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think Jalen Brunson is having the better year, but Donovan Mitchell is still better overall. Like, we have to remember that, like, this is his first All-Star appearance, Jalen Brunson. Like, he is great, and I will say he is having a better season than Donovan Mitchell is this season, like statistically, or leading the Knicks, who have been riddled with injuries, but he's been constant the whole time, giving you like 30 and 10 almost every night. He's having a phenomenal year, and honestly, I think Jalen Brunson is better than a good amount of the guys on the list today, but Donovan Mitchell is better overall, and Jalen Brunson could get there, 2-3 years from now, but for right now, it's Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I agree. It's just the consistency, and let's see Brunson do it over years. All that talk this week about how he turned down contracts from the Mavericks, which is just so interesting to me.
No, but they turned down him. He didn't turn down anything.
I'm sorry, they turned down him. Yeah,
for $55 million for 4 years,
and they're going to pay for it, which is perfect for my prediction for them. Lastly. Oh, no, that was the last one on the list. So Donovan Mitchell, I think for the most part, we're saying, other than maybe one or two options for each of us, that he's better than everybody that we listed here.
Yeah.
So
I thought there was one more on that list.
There was Anthony Edwards, but I deleted it because I don't think it's worth talking about.
Yeah, I'm taking Ant. Plus, he's 5 years younger, so I'm taking him to build a franchise around. So,
right,
100%.
All right. Let's talk a little. Let's get on the gaming side, sports gaming. NCAA football 25. The previews are coming out. You're seeing some trailers for it. I know the two of you that are in college are probably super excited. Plus, you probably don't even remember when we had college football games back in the day. So, couple of questions. Have you had more anticipation for a sports video game than this one?
I have personally never. I don't think I've, not only sports, I don't think I've ever been more excited for any video game ever. And this game was my childhood, the NCAA series. I never had an Xbox 360, but I had my two best friends growing up both did, and they both loved NCAA 14. And no matter what, every time I went over to one of their houses, we were playing NCAA 14. It is a core childhood memory. We had long-standing dynasties that we would play for literally 20 years and turn like Kent State into a juggernaut of a football program. I have so many fond memories growing up on this game, and I have thought about at various points trying to buy a cheap Xbox 360 and get an old copy of NCAA 14 just to relive that nostalgia. So I am so excited to get this game back. And you best believe I'm going to be spending a lot of time this summer playing it.
Zach?
Me personally, I unfortunately do not have NCAA football 14 as a core memory. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, but I also didn't have any friends who were playing that game at the
sad
time.
Tangent.
Yeah, but just true. The only other time I've been this excited for a game to come out was when MLB The Show went cross-platform and stopped being Sony exclusive.
I knew you were going to say that. That's awesome.
I was really excited for when that when it stopped being PlayStation exclusive, because I've grown up Xbox. I've always been Xbox, so that was very exciting. Even though I still think it's great gameplay, but not great graphics. This will have great graphics. I really hope that it is current gen exclusive with just the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox and the newest Xboxes, because if it isn't, I'm going to be pissed.
It is.
Thank God, because they're going to take full advantage of that hardware. We're going to get fantastic graphics on these sports games. I hope we get fantastic gameplay and they move away at least a little bit from Madden's engine, because Madden's engine is honestly really tough to play around with. I feel like I can't think of any other time that I've been this excited for any video game besides MLB going cross-platform. I'm so excited to pick up my Mountaineers and just start a dynasty with them. I'm starting a dynasty with Temple. I'm starting a dynasty with East Carolina. Like I'm starting multiple dynasties for not only West Virginia, but like for the teams that I'm just like, this team needs some love. Let me make them 5-time national champions.
You're skipping questions.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Back to you. So I want to go to Jesse on this.
Too.
Is there any anticipation at all in Canada for this game?
First of all, it's not even called NCAA football. It's EA Sports College Football 25, first off, because it's not NCAA. Cool. Second of all, not really, because college football, nobody gives anything. No one cares about college football in Canada. So as far as I'm concerned, no one's that excited. If they made CFL 25, I think that there'd probably be more buzz for it. In terms of anticipation, I was more personally excited about when NBA 2K went next gen in the 2014-15. That was one of probably the most anticipation I'd had for a sports game. And also, I have more anticipation for what they're going to call Madden 25, because I'm more interested in what they're going to do with that, because Madden 25 was already 10 years ago. So maybe they'll just call it Madden 35 because it's going to be the 35th anniversary of Madden. That's why it was 25 back instead of Madden 14 or whatever it was supposed to be. So
I think they're just going to call it 2025.
Madden 2025, maybe, or Madden 25. This time it's personal, like I don't know, whatever they want to call it. If they have Barry, maybe they should have Barry Sanders on the cover again. We'll see who, because honestly, there's not that many people that they want to, like, Mahomes has been washed out. Maybe they'll put Kelsey and Taylor Swift on the cover. Who knows? But I would say no one in Canada really gives any mind to an EA College Football 25.
Well, I'm just glad that Jack enjoyed NCAA Football 14 as I played NCAA Football 97, 96 probably. But playing a college football game while you're in college is just an unbelievable experience. A, you have so much more time to devote to it. And B, you see those guys on campus in a lot of cases. So I think it's cool. I think they're I don't know if the NIL payments that they're paying out to players is enough or not, but they do get a free copy of the game, which I think is cool. And they get $600 if they just give their name essentially to be used in the game. If they don't, somebody's going to make the roster update anyway, so it doesn't matter.
To be fair, they're offering this deal to 11,000 players. Like, that is a lot of money they're going to end up giving out.
No, if you're the third string long snapper for Toledo, that's the most money you've ever seen.
Right, and you get a free copy of the game that you're in.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. So last question before we move on, and Zach started to answer this already. What game mode do you want to play first? He says he's going to take over West Virginia. Jack, what game mode are you going to play first?
Oh, I've always been a big Dynasty guy through and through. I love it. I'm obviously taking over Wisconsin, but I also love just taking over like the most random school possible and building them up. I like doing teams with cool fields, so maybe Boise State or Coastal Carolina, something like that. But yeah, I'm a big Dynasty guy. I also love doing. I hope this is something that they include in the new game, because it's something I loved in NCAA 14. Is doing a coaching carousel Dynasty where you would start as
Yeah.
like the offensive coordinator for a small school, and then you work your way up to an offensive coordinator job at a big school, and then you take a head coaching job at a small school until you work your way up until you're coaching at like Alabama or something. So I really hope that's a thing again, because that was something I used to really love, and I will definitely be doing that again if that exists.
No, I that's exactly my answer was going to be, and they're going to have all the other stuff as well that you've seen in Madden the past couple of years and all that. But I was going to say the coaching carousel as well. I took the Indiana Hoosiers as their offensive coordinator to the Rose Bowl twice. We won both of them. Then I got to be the offensive coordinator at Alabama, and on and on. So that's a lot of fun. Plus, with those sorts of game modes, you only play offense, so the games go a little quicker. And then when you get to be the head coach, you're like, oh, now I have to play defense again. Yeah. Just like an offensive coach would, theoretically struggle on the defensive side of the ball and need a stronger defensive coordinator in real life. So I'm all excited about it. I'm glad every single FBS school is on board. I hope they eventually add some FCS schools too. I love that they're going to have the playoff, the 12-team playoff, and hopefully they give you some custom options there as well as expanding that or however you want to play. So huge win. They've already gotten everybody from my age on down excited about it. So going to be pretty sweet. Lastly, we are going to do some more Madden programming. Over to you, Jesse.
All right. So my question for today is, if you were starting a Madden franchise today, what team would you want control of? So this is just, you get to start as the GM and you get to make as many Howie moves as you possibly can. So what Madden team would you want to start a franchise with today, Jack?
Oh, this is so easy for me. It's the Chicago Bears. I mean, come on. You get the number one pick. You have a pick arsenal that courtesy of the Carolina Panthers. So many assets to trade. You start off with Caleb Williams. You get you already have DJ Moore. You have the 9th pick too. You can bring in another receiver. There's just so many different moldable ways that you can go with this team, and not to mention that they have like $90 million in cap space or something like that. So they have a ridiculous amount of cap space that they're going to be able to spend in free agency. This team is set up so well for the future, and I'm not a guy that wants to come in with, a team that's already established and just dominate right away. I want to build something up, make it my own, and then dominate with that team. So give me the Bears.
Yeah, who needs the Chiefs? Give me the Bears. Yeah. All right, Brian, what do you think?
I always, when I play franchise on Madden, I always think about what is the coolest weather I can have with a team that I can tolerate. So I'm always thinking Broncos, Browns, Bears. I never pick Green Bay for some reason. I never pick the Steelers for some reason. I want to see some snow by the end of the season. I don't get that with my current team unless we're playing an away game. So give me, let's say the Broncos or the Bears. I agree.
Broncos is a weird pick because they have literally no future because they gave it all away for Russell Wilson.
But they get snow. I'm a good enough GM. It doesn't matter what team I grab. It's all about.
They get snow. You would pick the Broncos because it snows.
They get snow.
Yes, I want to play in an outdoor stadium. I want to play in an outdoor stadium where it's going to snow, where I have to do a.
What about the Packers?
I don't like the Packers. I don't know why. I just always pick like. Somebody. I usually go Browns because they're usually terrible.
He wants the mile high advantage.
Yeah,
they're actually terrible. The Browns usually this year, obviously not. So I have to rebuild them, and they have a chance of having a snow game. So I think that's cool.
All right, weird answer, Zach. Who do you want control of?
So when I'm thinking about playing Madden, I'm thinking about what players I want to use in that franchise. And to me, there's no player who defines Madden more than Kyler Murray. So I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals and one of the most Madden-built quarterbacks in Kyler Murray. I'm keeping Kyler Murray, and I'm trading down the 4th overall pick for a haul, and I'm building around Murray, and I'm making the Cardinals, I'm going to make them better than they've ever been in the Kyler Murray era. And, Kyler Murray is a dual-threat quarterback that's going to be really easy to pick up because he just works really well in Madden for some reason. So, and plus, I have the Cardinals backing me up. They're keeping Kyler Murray according to their tweet that they put out earlier today. So, I'm just sticking to what the Cardinals want to do anyways. Give me the Cardinals. I think they'd be a fun team to really build up around Kyler Murray, of course.
I literally can't believe that those words just came out of your mouth when you could have said,
Me either.
I'm saying what Madden's all about. You could have took Lamar Jackson. Instead, you wanted the shorter
Kyler
version.
Murray is the definition of a Madden quarterback. He's only good in Madden.
I thought you were about to say the Dolphins.
I thought you were going to say the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill as well. But the Ravens are just the Cardinals, but better on every single possible level.
Too easy. I need a challenge. I need a challenge.
Fair enough. Me personally, I'm taking the Miami Dolphins, and I'm trading Tua is my first move for a different. I don't care. You could be Caleb Williams if you're left-handed. You suck in Madden. It doesn't matter. You just can't be left-handed in Madden. So I'm trading away Tua. I'm trading away Tyreek Hill for as much as I can possibly get for him. Jalen Waddle comes in as our new wide receiver 1. Devon Achane, young, amazing running back, probably the fastest in the game, and he's on a rookie deal, so that's great. And then we're trading Tyreek and Tua, getting a massive haul, moving up in this year's draft, taking a quarterback, and letting the championship come to us. So if you want to do these moves in real life, we are starting a Madden franchise with our community. You can join at the link in the bio. About half the teams are gone. Half the teams are still on the table. So if you want to get your favorite team, it's first come, first serve at the link in our bio. Make sure to join. We're going to be playing 2 games a week for the next 3 months. You can play with all of us. I have control of the Patriots. Zach has control of the Eagles. Jack is on the beach. And Brian, I don't even think he plays Madden anymore. So if you want to play with Zach and I, you can join the franchise. It'll be at the link in our bio. So come play and come put those moves to the test. See if Jack can build a dynasty or Zach can win now. And thank you to the guy in the comments who said he loves our channel. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that's this week. A lot of NBA action. We'll be looking forward to some March Madness programming also coming down the pipe. So that's right around the corner. I know Jack's excited. So, guys, thanks. It was a good one. And we will see you next week. Let me see if I can find our close here. Not as good of a transition on that one, Jack.
No.
Bye.